everyone. My name is Genevieve Ruth Wilkie, and I was born on August 19, 1920, in Detroit, Michigan. Artificial intelligence brings me here today to welcome you to the United States Marine Corps 250th birthday celebration here in Mankato, sponsored by the Forrest G James Detachment 589 Marine Corps League at the Morrison Aereo Strand, VFW Post 950. The following presentation was done using letters that Forrest and I exchange from 1942 to 1945, along with military records, newspaper articles, photographs, and lots of fun research. When I was 21, my best gals thought it would be a swell idea to write to a serviceman who was fighting for our country. We wanted to help keep the troop spirits up while they were away from home. I chose the name Forrest G James by stabbing a hat pen into a list of servicemen to write to as a pen pal that was published in the Detroit paper on June 10, 1942. We fell in love through our letters and married on February 7, 1945. Forrest used to tell me, "Jenny dear, you must be off your bean." I will now hand it over to him to tell you about his war experience and our love.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us. Following my enlistment, I was stationed at Hawthorne Naval Ammunition Depot, which was a staging and storage facility for munitions, with a contingent of 600 U.S. Marines providing security for installation. I wrote to Jenny August 4, 1942, from the Guard Company NAD Hawthorne, Nevada. Dear Jenny, I like your last letter a lot. It was the best one I got for a long time, and you didn't give me hell for once. Thanks. I bet you would have liked a picture of me with a black eye. Someday I'll tell you how I got it. Maybe I ran into a door. Ha ha. Boy, I would have given my right leg to have seen you that night of the Army Relief Show. That would have given me a good laugh. Bye now, love as ever, Hap. Hap is my childhood nickname for happy. Can you tell by my smile? From security guard in Nevada, I went to Camp Elliott in San Diego, California for 60mm mortar school. From February 4, 1943 until May 22, 1943. I called this hellhole. I wrote, on Sunday, February 14th, 1943. Dearest Jenny, was glad to hear from you again. How are you? Good, I hope. Thanks for the picture. I did not picture you to be so good looking. I think it is the best one I got from you. How does your brother like Hawthorne? I'd like to be back there and not here. For they are making me go back to school. I am in the 60mm mortar school. It's not bad, but I don't like the idea of going back to school. When you send a letter, put the number 60 in the left-hand corner. That is so it will not have to go all over the camp. You ask me why I don't like Camp Elliott. The first thing, the food is not as good as up there. And the next is that we don't have dishes like we had up there. And we have to do more work here than we did there. There is one thing I like about this place. You can go swimming at night or on Saturday and Sunday. The water's cold, but the air is nice. As ever, love, Hap. Again, on February 25th, 1943, I wrote, Jenny or Butch, did I ever tell you how nice I think you look in that picture you sent me? I would like to have it with me all the time, but the way I roll around on the ground, it would not last long. I would send you a new one of myself, but I can't get around to have some taken. By the way, that new way of writing is all right, but it drives me nuts. As my brother said, you may not be crazy, but it helps. Hope you get your vacation. What are you going to do? Go out and raise hell. Are you coming out here to see me? I would like to see you very much. I know I could get along with you good. How does that sound to you? Hope you have a lot of fun when you go. I'll be thinking of you as ever. Love and kisses, Happy. We shipped out on May 22, 1943. And my tour started in New Caledonia, where we did not get off the ship, then Melbourne, Australia until June, when we then shipped to New Guinea until December, where we staged for New Britain and the Battle of Cape Gloucester. It was December 24th, when I encountered my first combat, as we fought a very tough and bloody fight. It was characterized by fierce Japanese resistance from well-prepared trenches and the miserable conditions of fighting in dense jungle mud and heavy rain. I wrote to Jenny, Dearest Jenny, here's something from one of the cards you sent me. I think it's cute, and it fits what I am doing. It goes like this, just sitting and thinking. Wanting to let you know, I am awful blue and lonesome because I miss you so. Just writing to tell you I am still okay. Hope you are in the best of health. Say, Jenny honey, don't bother to send me any cigarettes, for I can get all I need here. But if you happen to run across some small cigars, I'll be very glad to get them. That's one thing we can't get here. If so, thanks a lot. I will send you the money for them someday. We can write about a lot more things nowadays. For one thing, the fuzzy wuzzies, they are the natives here. The only thing that's out around here is that the women don't wear grass skirts anymore. Oh, but that's not too bad, because they still don't wear tops. Well, it's not too bad either. Anyway, I've been seeing lots of things I never seen before. Dearest Jenny, I am getting around to write to you again. It's been almost 3 weeks. I bet you could think and think for hours, and you could never guess where I am writing this letter from. Here we are sitting in the river, and you know what I have on, not a darn thing. Came down here to wash my clothes and write you. But from the look of it, I won't get my clothes washed. January 6th. Dearest Jenny, I received a letter today that you wrote on December 14th. By the way, I received the stationery and the Xmas present you sent. It is very nice, and I've been wearing it most of the time. Sometimes I am afraid I'll lose it. Did you hear from my mother lately? She wrote and said that she did not hear from you after Xmas. Said she was hoping to get a letter sometime. She likes you very much and is waiting to see you. Hope it will be soon. My brother Dean is somewhere in England. He said it's very nice there and the people are really swell. But he would like to be home. He's not the only one. In Mother's last letter, she said that Gary Hippaw, the fellow I came into the Marine Corps with, got hurt and is back in the States. I don't want to come home that way. The battle culminated in a Japanese counterattack on January 16, 1944, which was repulsed by our artillery and mortar fire, securing the position and ending the main Japanese defensive operations in the area. The successful capture of Hill 660 marked the end of organized Japanese resistance in the area, changing the nature of the campaign from a difficult assault phase to mopping up remaining enemy pockets. As we continued the jungle fighting along the Aogiri River and toward Talisia, started on February 14, 1944. Our objective was to seize Talisia's airfield and cut off the retreating Japanese 17th Division units who were escaping from western New Britain. Our route followed the Aogiri River Valley, a region of dense jungle, steep ridges, and heavy rainfall, complicating movement and logistics. Japanese snipers, mortars, and machine guns created deadly kill zones that slowed our progress to a crawl. Then I became famous. Ha, 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 ha. The Associated Press released the following: 2 Mankato fighting men have been featured prominently in the news this week for feats of heroism overseas. They are Private Forrest G James, 24, ME, and Lieutenant Matt Farmer, 25. I was lying on a flank from which I could survey the entire scene. I fired relentlessly at the Japanese machine gun crew that had crippled my 4 buddies. I had to make himself a target for a Jap sniper while pouring fire into the enemy position. My 4 buddies, 2 of whom were dead and 2 severely wounded, were later found by other members of the Marine Corps who buried their fallen comrades near Cape Gloucester, New Britain. Wow, that made me happy. Guess that's why they call me Hap. The Mankato Free Press went on to report that I was operating an automatic rifle while engaged in a duel with a Jap machine gun crew, while 4 fellow Marines made their way to the side of their fallen sergeant, only to find him dead. Although the rescue effort, dangerous as it was, had been in vain, the rescuers battled their way out with the sergeant's body, which was buried in a Marine cemetery near Cape Gloucester, New Brighton, from where Associated Press Sunday night reported the jungle episode. The sergeant, who had volunteered to outflank Jap machine gunners holding up the Marine platoon, fell in view of his buddies under a burst of machine gun fire. The group deployed with 2 Marines slipping forward into the jungle brush, 2 others deliberately offering themselves as decoy targets, and I, on a flank from which I could see the entire scene, sent bullets into the target made by the enemy gun burst. During the battle, I also was a target for searching enemy guns, and got away with only a bullet hole in his canteen. Wow, what a day. What an honor. Letter dated April 27, 1953. The following is an account of events that took place at the time I was injured off the island of Peleliu on September 15, 1944. We went in on a Higgins boat, 13 men in my squad from the 2nd Platoon C Company, 1st Battalion, 7th Marines, 1st Marine Division. Attached was a rifle grenade, flamethrower, and a demolition. The 3 men in my squad were quite newly assigned, and I did not know them too well. We changed from Higgins' boat to an Amtrak. There we put on 7 different colors of camouflage paint on our faces and hands, making it quite difficult for any of us to correctly identify one another at a quick glance. About 300 yards from the beach, we had a direct hit of a Japanese mortar shell inside the cargo compartment of the Amtrak, where we happened to be. Because I was the squad leader, my position was in the rear of the Amtrak by the ramp so I could get out first. I was squatted with my back to the ramp before we were hit. I came to lie on the ramp with my body 3/4 submerged and my head sticking out of the water. It is my belief that I was knocked unconscious from the explosion. How I got in this position, I do not know. Whether I was thrown or blown from the explosion onto the ramp or into the ocean, or possibly someone put me on the ramp, I do not know. As I could not get up to take my pack off, I unbuckled it as I laid there. As I was bleeding quite badly and could not see, I laid there for a while. Then I got up on my hands and knees, and finally I could see from the one eye, and I could see about 7 or so guys that were either unconscious or dead lying in the Amtrak. Seeing that I was badly hurt and unable to assist any of these men, I started to crawl on my hands and knees out into the ocean. I got about 300 yards out when this one fellow, a big German fellow, whose name I don't remember, but who was in my squad and who was badly wounded, himself picked me up, and we walked away out into the ocean. We got out a few more yards, and a Navy corpsman from another platoon saw us and figured we would drown, so he helped us get back to the beach. As we walked onto the beach, someone on my right, who I don't know, stepped on a landline. A very large chunk caught me below the left knee, knocking me down. There were 3 of us that got into a hole. The Navy corpsman gave us each a shot of morphine, and we stayed there for about 15 minutes. Seeing that we had so many wounds, the Navy corpsman suggested that we try to catch an Amtrak back to a ship. I stuck my head out of the hole we were in to see if there was an Amtrak on the beach that we could get to. At that time, a JAC mortar shell went off in back of us, covering my back and the back of my head and neck with pieces of coral rock and shrapnel. We finally got up and got into an Amtrak, which was pulling out to sea. A few minutes later, either the shock or the morphine put me out. The last thing I remember was being lifted into a Higgins boat going back to its mothership. The next thing I remember was coming to lying on a stretcher aboard a ship. The 13 men and drivers of the Amtrak I did not know too much. I only knew of 2 besides myself that came off that Amtrak alive. An interesting footnote to the letter is where I added the comment. As an afterthought, and for whatever value it might be worth, I would like to mention that I have had trouble and confusion with my name being mistaken for James G. Forrest instead of Forrest G. James. It just might be that somewhere the records are listed or filed under that mistaken name. January 6th, 1945. No, honey. I don't know what kind of malaria I have. But I'll find out if you like. There's not much you can do for it. You just have to let it go. There are some pills that help, but I can't spell the name of them. It's spelled something like this: Atterburn. They are yellow and they taste like hell. I am going to see if I can get some before I leave. They are 8 cents apiece on the outside. And when you have malaria, you have to take from 8 to 12 per day. I don't think I'll get it much there in Minnesota. You get it most of the time where it is damp. You would make me a nice nurse, honey. But I am going to try not to be sick. I never was sick much before this. Honey, I'm glad that you found the dress. I know it will look nice on you, so you will be all set. Then all you have to do is wait until this guy comes home. I'll try to get there just as soon as I can. Hope I can be married before Lent. January 10th, 1945. About the only thing left to get is I and the ring. I'll try to get there just as soon as I can. Hope I can make it in time. It was really nice to hear your voice last night. Wish I could hear it all the time, but not over the phone. Soon I can tell you how much I love you and how very dear you are to me, and I won't have to write it. You know I love you very much, honey. You are the one that means so very much to me. Hope that I can make you happy, and there's not a thing I want more than to have you for my wife and to know that you love me. What more could a guy like me want? January 18th, 1945. My dearest darling. Hello, sweet. How is that girl of mine? Good, I hope. Do you know that I love you, sweet? I hope I get to come home to you soon. I can't drive anymore and I don't think I could get a license up there in Detroit. Not with only one eye. I lost my license in my pack. When I was hit, I think I can get one at Caddo, though. January 23rd, 1945. My dearest darling, Mrs. Forrest James. I like that. Hello, honey, how is my little sweetheart today? Good, I hope? If you feel any think like I do, it has to be good. This is my last letter, honey. I'll see you soon. I remember when I used to say that a long time ago. I'll see you, my darling, Monday or Tuesday. I love you, my sweetheart. Even these 7 days is a long time. Remember how much I love you, then it will not seem so long. I shall be thinking of you till I see you. Bye for now, my darling. The next time I say I love you, you will be in my arms. It can't be too much longer. My sweetheart, I love you. Until I see you, my darling. I love you always. Hubby Hap.
Hap! I'm telling you, honey pie, I'm getting so nervous that if you don't get home in time, you can order 2 beds in that sick ward. Or just move over, 'cause I'm gonna be sick too. Gosh! Tomorrow I've got to see the priest again and answer questions. Golly! Hope I get yours back from your mother, so it will save me a trip over there. Tonight I fix 3 pairs of my stockings again. Still have 2 more pairs yet to do. Have to try to get the dolls for our wedding cake, a little bride and a marine doll. Gosh, boy, you're lucky. I'm the one who has to walk down the aisle. All you have to do is stand up in front of everyone and wait for me to come up the aisle. Seems like I can hear my knees knock already. Golly, wish I were Mrs. James already, and boy, don't think I'm not going to kick you for telling me not to come out there. I'd be Mrs. James already. Boy, you, so-and-so, I'm going to deduct 5 kisses from the 20 I owe you. See, but I'll find other reasons to kiss you, the main one being because I love you so. And this concludes our presentation. Although our story was so much more than we shared here today, we hope you enjoyed this tiny glimpse into our story. Thank you all for coming tonight, and Semper Fi!